you can hear me. Latif, can you confirm you can hear me? And I think you want to spotlight my other device, which is Muidin Adiakwani. If you can hear me, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, yes, I can hear you.
If you can hear me, can you drop a yes in the chat box? Oh, fantastic, fantastic. All right. Fantastic. Thank you. All right, fantastic. All right. So welcome to the tech series from Text, where we get to do a whole lot of things tonight. Tonight we'll be doing a whole lot of awesome things. And when we're talking about awesome things, so I will share my screen to show you what we'll be talking about tonight and how you'll be able to get value and advantage. Okay. Can you let me know when you can see my screen? So tonight is all about we talking about how you are able to leverage Power BI. How many people have heard about Power BI before? If you heard about Power BI, can you drop a yes in the chat? Fantastic. All right, so my hi is also in the chat box. Fantastic. If you've never heard about Power BI, drop a 0 in the chat. Because tonight, what we'll be doing is we'll be working on Power BI to show you how fantastic this particular fantastic. All right, Anthony, I can see that you can hear me and you can also see my screen. That's good. So tonight we'll be working, just like I said, we'll be talking about Power BI and how we're able to leverage Power BI to track a real-time delivery time for a third-party logistics company. Okay, that's what we'll be looking at tonight. And with me, I'll be handling the session tonight. We have Amaka. All right, Amaka is a top professional. All right, she's a top professional, a data analyst and a data scientist that has been in this space for some time now. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to make sure that you pay attention when she starts to showcase her magic and showing you how you can leverage Power BI to get that job that you might be looking at. All right. Also, Amaka she has had a wonderful experience in the tech space. She's helped over 500 people land a job in the tech space. All right. She's currently the head of finance team in a financial institute, and she's also a data scientist and a data analyst in a health tech organization. All right. Now, this is who you will be handling the session. I'll be showing you how to use Power BI. Now, if you're looking at me that I'm speaking to you, my name is Muidin Adiakoni, all right? And I've been also in this tech space for some time now. And during this time, I've been able to help loads of people, over 500 people, transition from the from having no technical background to landing their first role in tech. Okay, I work across the globe. I worked in UK, I worked in US, I worked in Canada, and I've also worked in Nigeria. All right. So tonight, these are the things that we'll be working through. And if you're looking at who is talking and who are we coming from, so this is Tenalytics, is a first of its kind edtech organization that what we do is to help people that have no technical background to transition into the tech space and land their first role in tech. All right. So we have helped in total, we've helped over 2,850 people land their first job in the tech space. So what you want to do tonight is you pay attention, you do as you do. So when Amaka is doing all the magic with Power BI, you want to pay attention, do as you do. Then you have in the chat box, you have my colleague drop link to fill the form so that everything we have access to right now, we'll be able to have it sent to your email and you can have access to it. You can have access to this slide, you can have access to the recording, and you can even have access to the data set and everything Amaka will be walking you through. So you want to make sure that you fill the form so you don't miss out on anything. All right. Amaka, are you here with me?
Hi, Muridin. I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Right.
All right. It's good to see you, Amaka.
Same here, same here. I don't know if you see my, can you see me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, wonderful. Right. Thank you very much for the intro. Hello, everyone. Lovely to be here. And like my colleague has mentioned, as Muidin said, we're going to have a lot of fun tonight. I'm going to show you some very amazing things that, I mean, you did not think that Power BI could do. That is if you even know what Power BI is to begin with. Right. So, Muidin, thank you very much. I think I'm going to share my screen now.
Okay.
Thank you. All right. Okay. Okay, please, can you confirm that you can see my screen?
Yes, you
Please, if you
can.
can see my screen. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Right. So everyone, lovely to be here. I'm lovely to have you guys. Right. So if you have any question, you can always use the chat box. Just put in your questions in the chat box. So we're going to talk about a couple of things in the next, say, hour. Right. So like I said, if you have a question, just put it in the chat box, right? And I want us to interact. I'm going to be asking you questions, and I would also like for you to respond in the chat box, right? So if you're ready, just give me a yes. If you're ready to, look at Power BI, give me a yes in the chat box. Give me yes in the chat box so we can begin. Wonderful. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you, Emmanuel. Amazing. Right. So I would actually want to know where you guys are joining from. Where are you joining from? Just tell me where you're joining from. Where are you joining from? Theophilus, Boateng. I'm sorry if I murder your name. Right, UK, wonderful. Finland, amazing. So there are many people joining from here, from different places all over the world. Amazing. I'm lovely to have you guys, right? Now we're going to go into what we have for today. Remember, if you have any question, just put in the chat box, right? Now, first off, I don't know if you can see my screen. Can you see my screen? Can you see what I'm sharing? Can you see what is logistic analytics? Let me be sure that you're looking at the same thing I have. Okay, so what do you see? Prince, please, what do you see on my screen?
What is logistics analytics?
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Right, so it means I'm sharing the right thing. All right, so let's go. Now, I am a data analyst, right? So who is a data analyst? Basically, think of a data analyst like, think of a doctor, right? When you're not feeling well, you go to see a doctor, right? Doctor, I'm having headache, I'm having body pains, my stomach is paining me. Now, think of a doctor for businesses, right? Or a doctor for data, right? So we have different types of doctors. You have when you're having like toothache, you know that you're going to a dentist. When you're having, eye ache, you're going to like an optician and all of that. Same way we have several specializations in data analytics, right? So today we're going to be focusing on logistics analytics. So I'm sure if you go through LinkedIn, you would see health data analyst, business data analyst, right? So this is just like a niche of, data analytics. So what is logistics analytics, right? So basically, logistic analytics is using data analysis and business intelligence tools to optimize supply chain and logistic operation. So think of it like we're helping businesses to track their deliveries, monitor performance, and then improve efficiency. I think I'm getting feedback from somewhere. Okay, right. Now that would actually include you analyzing, delivery, maybe checking delivery times, making sure that the track is, you're tracking the shipment, you're checking customer satisfaction to make sure that your customers are actually really satisfied. So apologies if you see me looking in different directions because I have like 3 screens in front of me. Okay, Suzanne, I don't know, is that Suzanne or Sujan? Are you from okay, so I don't think I get your question, right? So maybe you type it well. Okay, but that's basically what logistics analytics is. Right now, what is Power BI? So Power BI is, remember I mentioned that logistic analytics is using data analysis and business intelligence tools. Now, Power BI, right, it stands for Power Business Intelligence, right? So it's a BI tool that's been developed by Microsoft. So the same way we have Excel, if you remember your spreadsheet was developed by Microsoft, right? We also have Power BI developed by Microsoft. It helps us to connect our data, to transform the data, analyze the data, and extract meaningful insight from the data, right? So it will allow us to create a real-time dashboard. Real-time dashboard in the sense that as your data is updating, each second, right? You also have the results in Power BI. I think it's pretty interesting. It's what we're going to do today. So we're going use Power BI to integrate a live data unit, right? We're going to use it to make sure we uncover insights through interactive charts, graphs, and KPIs. So if you're not still sure what a logistic company is, think of it like DHL. I'm sure most of us know DHL or FedEx, right? If you know DHL or FedEx, give me a yes. DHL or FedEx. Or in Nigeria, we know GIG Logistics, right? Yes, so think of it in that manner. So you as a data analyst working in that kind of organization, this is the kind of data you'll be handling, logistics data, okay? Now, today we're going to be working on a case study, like a scenario, right? So in analytics, we believe that it's not just about, doing several picking codes and writing your queries and all of that. We also believe that you should be able to put yourself in a real life scenario, which is what we're trying to do now. So imagine that we're working for a company called Sweet Logistics, right? And they're a third-party logistics, which means they help other organizations, send out their deliveries. So they specialize in delivery services across major US cities, right? So they've partnered with different businesses, retailers, manufacturers to make sure that they have their parcels delivered on time to the customers. Now, despite them having multiple delivery options, now they have standard, they have express, they have overnight, right? They are facing challenges like maybe delivery delays and increasing operational costs, which is actually affecting them. Their service, their services is reducing, the customer satisfaction is reducing, right? Now, how do we help them? We're going to build a real-time logistic tracking dashboard in Power BI that will first of all help them monitor delivery status in real time. Remember, keyword in real time, which means as every say customer care representative is imputing, or I don't know what they call those guys, customer care, right? As they're inputting their details into the system, automatically it is updating into Power BI, and then you can see it in real time, right? That's what I mean by real time. Now we're going to analyze the delays. We'll see, we'll optimize cost efficiency, and then we'll help them improve their delivery performance, okay? Now, if you click on this, you can get the data set here. So if you want this material, you might want to drop in I think if you go to the chat box, you will see that my colleague is dropping the attendance form. So you can fill in the details, put in your email, and then you'll be able to get this material and replicate with me. So at this point right now, you might not be able to work alongside I because, you don't have this material. You can't do this with me, but you can pay attention. But if you want access to this, you will see it down here. Somebody's posting it in the chat box. So just click there, put in your details, and then you'll be able to have access to this, right? So when you actually have access to this, just come here and then click on this, right? Now, when you click on this, automatically it's going to take you here. Let me pull up my other, right? So it's going to take you here. Right, so this is like a spreadsheet. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to connect a Google spreadsheet, right? We're going to connect it into Power BI. So now I'm assuming that your organization has, even though your organization maybe have their data in like Excel spreadsheets, you can always move your data to Google spreadsheet. Why? Because like I said, real time. Okay, so for every time, even if you have somebody that is in New York and then you have another person in Dallas, for every time they can all have access to this same sheet. So if you come to share here, you'll be able to share this with many people in your organization, right? You can see you can put in their mails, you can see this, right? You give access to many people as you want. They'll just come in here, type in the details for that day, and they clock out. So you as the analyst would also have access to this particular sheet, right? You can see I have a lot of data in here. All I have to do is copy this particular the link of this particular sheet, take it to my Power BI, connect it, right? So that I can go ahead and do my analysis. And then for every time that any of the customer care people put in any data here, automatically, it is also connecting in my visuals, right? Like I said, let's not talk too much. Let's actually dive straight into it, right? But when you click on this link that I talked about, it is going to bring you to that page. Now, what are we going to do? This is what we saw earlier. What we want to do is we want to transform this particular thing we have on the left, which is your raw data. We want to transform it into what we have on the right. Now, let me ask you a question. If say your line manager, right, your boss in the office, if he says, oh, please extract some, details for me, do you think that he would prefer the one on the left or the one on the right? What do you think? I want you to give me a response in the chat box. Do you think he would prefer the one on the left or the one on the right? The photo on the left or the one on the right? What do you think? I want to hear from you. Exactly, the one on the right. Why the one on the right? Because this makes a lot more sense, right? It is visually appealing in the eyes. Nobody wants to be seeing numbers, if we're being honest. Nobody wants to see a bunch of data. It's a lot, right? But this makes a whole lot sense. Looking at this, I can tell how many deliveries we had, the average delivery time that we have. Okay, so that is the reason why data analysis is very, very important for every organization. So not just logistics now, for every organization. You can have a data analyst like somebody mentioned earlier. Yes, you can have a health data analyst. You can have a financial analyst. You can have HR analysts, right? Handling the employee data. There are different niches of data analysis. That's why I told you, think of a data analyst like a doctor, right? That is fixing the problems that you have in your organization. But now we can specialize to different or niche down to different aspects of data analysis. So what we're going to do today is we're going to connect our data from our Google Sheets into Power BI, and then we'll go ahead and build what we have on the right. Okay, so if you're excited, give me a yes. You're excited and ready to go, give me a yes so that we can move on. I'm ready to go, give me a yes. Wonderful. Thank you very much, Anthony. Thank you, Tomiwa, Emmanuel, Asobo, Grace, Abisak. Thank you very much. Okay, so now this is Power BI, right? This is what Power BI looks like. Like I mentioned, Power BI is Power Business Intelligence, right? So it's a tool that was created by Power BI, okay? By Microsoft, sorry about that, right? Microsoft also created your Excel, your PowerPoint, right? All those things that you know. So this is what the interface looks like. Usually, the first time that you open Power BI, this is the interface that you will see. This is the first thing that you're going to be looking at, okay? So on your left here, you have the options to open a new, like something that you've worked on before. You can save what you already have. You can give it a name. You have a bunch of options here, okay? Here you can bring in a blank report, like a new report, which is what we already had. You can look at this. So it's very easy for you to get Power BI. I know some of you might ask, where do I get Power BI from? So if you just go to your Microsoft Store on your computer, you can just search for Power BI Desktop. You can see it at the top. If you can see the top of my if you see the top of my screen here, you have Power BI Desktop. Once you search for it, right, this is what the icon looks like. You can easily download it. It's free. This version is free. Of course, there's the paid version, but this particular version is free of charge. Okay. Now, when you click on blank report, it's going to bring you here where I am, right? So you have this area called like the ribbon, and then you have different tabs to play around with, right? But that is not really let's go into the main thing for today. So we're going to be building our visual here. This area is called the canvas. We have the filters pane. So this is where you can put in a filter. Filtering is more like you're trying to get a portion of your data, not all your data. You have the visualization area. This is where you pick in your visuals. And then you have this area called the data pane. So this is where your data is going to fall in. So the data we're bringing in, you see the columns present here. Okay. Now, how do we bring in data into Power BI? So if you come to the Home tab, which is where I am presently, you will see this thing that says Get Data, right? Get Data. If you click on Get Data, you have different options, right? You can connect to an Excel workbook. You can connect to data flows, SQL servers, right? But now, one of the most interesting things about Power BI, maybe because I have a bias to Power BI, right? If you click on more, Power BI, out of all the BI tools that I've ever used, right, I can tell you that Power BI has the most data connectors, right? If you scroll down, right, can you see the different options that you have? I'm still scrolling down. It is a lot. You have a lot of options out of all the BI tools. Now, when I say BI tools, we have Tableau, we have Google, we have Data Studio, we have Looker, there are many. We have ClickView, right? But Power BI is still one of the one that has one of the most, data sources that you can use. You can connect to QuickBook, you can connect to DataVas, you can connect to BigQuery. Basically, and think of any data source that you can imagine, right? The option is probably here in Power BI. But what we're trying to connect to now is Google Sheets, right? I don't want to start having to scroll down looking for Google Sheets. So what I'll do is I'll just come to the search bar here, and then I will search for Sheets since I know that it is Google Sheets. You'll see it here, right? Can you see Google Sheets? Once you click on that, you just select Connect. Select Connect. Right? So you see that it is telling me I want to connect to a third-party service, right? It's basically Power BI is just telling me, are you sure you want to connect to this service? Of course, I know that it is safe, so I will just click on continue. I'll click on continue and just let that load up. Right? So sometimes it might take a second or two, depending on yeah. Right. So now you see it's asking me, it's telling me I want to connect a Google Sheet. So what is the URL? What is the link of this, my Google Sheet? So what do I do? I'm going to come back to this, my sheet, right? So I'm assuming that your company's data is, here in the sheet, right? Online. So I'll just come to file on the left here. So like I mentioned, you might not be able to practice this with me, but what can you do to get this, to have access to this? You have access to the recording because this is actually recorded, and then you would also have access to this material. So what you can do is you have the attendance form, like I mentioned, fill in your details and your mail as well, so that they'll be able to send this across to you, right? So come to file on the left here, and then you want to look for this button that says share. Right? Look for this button that says share. When you click on share with others, right? When you click on share with others, right? You can copy the link here. You can copy the link here. So can you still see my screen? Please give me a yes if you can see my screen. Can you see my screen? Please give me a yes if you can still see my screen. Okay, wonderful. Right, so Martin, so don't drop your mail here. Right? Don't drop your mail here. There's a form going that they're sending in the chat box here. Just click on it and then fill in your details in there, okay? All right. So when you click on share, you see this option that says copy link. Okay? Just click on copy link. Can you see that it's telling me link has been copied? Right? Okay, Rita, I'll take that again. Now, I said the moment you want to if we come back, let me come back to my Power BI so that you see where we're at. In Power BI, once you click Google Sheets, it's going to ask you to, drop like a Google Sheets link, your URL, right? Now you want to come back to where you have your Google Sheets, okay? Come to File on the left here, and then you can go to Share. Then you can select Share with Others. Okay, so it's assuming that you want to share this with a third party. So you come down here and then you can copy link. So click on copy link and you've copied the link. Now you come back to your Power BI, come to this box here, and then you paste. You paste it. Paste that link that you copied and click on OK. Click on OK. Yeah, you're welcome, Rita. So click on OK, just give it a second or two and it will come up. Right? So don't forget that we're connecting from the internet. So when you're doing this process, you might actually need to be connected to the internet. Now, in my own case, I have already connected my Google account to my Power BI, right? But in this stage, for you, because you're doing this for the first time, you'll be prompted by Google to fill in your details, right? So you probably have to put in your email and then the password, right? Once you click on that, it will take you to your browser, you confirm that it's your email, and then you come back here and just continue, right? I'm just trying to say that I've skipped a step. I skipped a step because my account is already logged in here, right? I don't know if you got that. Did you get that? If you understood what I just said, give me a yes. Give me a yes if you understood what I just said. Give me a yes in the chat box. Okay, wonderful. Right. Now, after you have signed in, it's going to bring you to this place. Okay, Victor did not understand. So Victor, I'm saying that the moment I put in the link for the Google Sheets, right? It is supposed to ask me, in your case now, I have already logged in my Google. My Google is already linked. My account is linked to this Power BI. So for you, it would require you to sign in. Remember when you're trying to connect Google to another, like a third-party app, right? Google is going to try to tell you to authenticate to be sure that it's not somebody trying to use your account, right? So that's what I mean. It will tell you to sign in, but the moment you sign in, it will bring you to this point where I am. Did you get that, Victor? Just give me a yes if you understood what I just said. Give me a yes if you understood what I just said. Okay, wonderful. Right. All right. So now when it brings you to this particular point, right? This place is called the navigator area, right? Now, this is the data. You can see the name, Swift Logistics Data. Let me come back here. You can see the name of this, Swift Logistics Data. Look at the sheet name. I want us to confirm this before I continue. You can see the sheet name, Swift Logistics Data, which means we're connecting the right thing, right? That's what Power BI is telling us. This is what it found inside the link that we sent. Okay, so I want this to actually connect. What do? I'm going to check the box. There's a box just beside this, right? So check the box. Check the box. Now, if you check the box, it's going to give you a preview of this data that we have from online. Can you see this? This data that we have from online. Now, this process that we've just done is extraction. So we have something called ETL, that is extract, transform, and load. Extract, transform, and load. So the process we've done is we've extracted data from a source. What is that source? Google Sheet. So you can do the process of transform data. So what is transformation? Transformation is more like you're trying to clean the data. You're trying to arrange it. Let it be good enough for you to actually carry out your analysis. Now, if you come down here, you have, then the last option is load. So after you're done with your transformation, you can go ahead and load it. If I click on load, I'm basically telling Power BI, I'm skipping the process of transform. Don't forget, extract, transform, and load, right? If I'm clicking load, I'm saying I don't want to, I'm just extracting and loading, remove transform. But if I click on transform, this is going to take me to another interface entirely called the Power Query interface, right? Power Query Editor is where you do your transformation, your cleaning. So think of your clothes that is dirty and you want to wear it, right? You know, you want to wear it to maybe church on Sunday. You would have to clean that clothes to make sure that it's presentable for you to wear to church, right? That's exactly what we're trying to do. We want to make sure that our data is perfect enough for us to actually go ahead and do any transformation. So if you click on transform data, it takes us to Power Query Editor. But if you click on cancel, it means, oh, Power BI, I made a mistake. This is not the right data. So just cancel the process and then you can start all over again. But we're going to click on transform data. As an analyst, the most important thing is make sure that your data is good enough for analysis. If it is not, then you probably get a bias in your results, which is not good, right? You want to make sure that your data is perfect for analysis, right? So I think this opened in my second, 1 second. I'm going to move this to my other screen. 1 second, please. So this opened in my second screen. So I want to move it here so that you see. All right, so this is what the Power Query Editor looks like. All right. Okay, so this is what the Power Query Editor looks like, right? This is what it looks like. So this is where you can do your transformation, make sure the data is okay, make sure that it is clean. Shegun, what do you mean by indicators? When you say indicators, what do you mean? You can drop it in the chat box, right? But this is what Power Query Editor looks like. Now, I have noticed that I have an error. right? I have an error. You can see I have column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4, column 5, column 6. This is not exactly how my data looks like here. If I come back here, can you see? The name of my data is delivery ID, customer name, customer city, delivery address, right? So this is not the name of the column that I'm using. So which means that there's probably an error here, right? You see the reason why your data has to be perfect, right? Okay, Shegun says, I mean, what are the things you must see to know when your data is perfect for transformation? So make sure that you don't have any empty data. That's one of the most important things. Make sure that you don't have any empties. If, for instance, I come to row 11 and this place is empty, it means that my data is dirty. We call that dirty data. It's not good enough. If you're having duplicates in your data, that is not a good data. If you're having inconsistencies, let's assume that you have an age column, and then in the age column, you're seeing 205, right? In reality, who is 205 years old, right? It's almost impossible. So you might know that maybe that's a data and entry problem or an issue. These are the things that make your data dirty, if you get what I mean. So give me a yes if you got what I mean, right? But like I said, for me, I can see column 1, column 2, column 3, which means there's a problem here, right? Look at the names of look at my column names. My column names are in my row, delivery ID, customer name. This is incorrect. They should be here. So what can I do? If you come to the home tab, I'm going to go to the side here that says used first row as headers. Use first row as headers, because this did not come exactly the way I expected it to be. So I'll just click on this, and you will see that it will promote the first row to headers. You will no longer see column 1, column 2. You will now be seeing the header names. Like I said, Power BI is a bit resource intensive, which means it might use a lot of your computer's resources. So sometimes it might seem as if some things are not as fast as they should be. Right, so you can see that I have delivery ID, customer name. Can you see? I no longer have column 1, column 2. Everything looks okay. And you can also see these things here telling me I have 100% valid data. I don't have any errors. I don't have any empties in my data, which means my data is good enough. So you're supposed to actually scroll through to make sure that all your data is intact and then it is properly identified. You can see for status, I have ABC indicating that this is text. This is a word. If you come here, you have dispatch time indicating that this is a date data, right? So if you scroll all the way, you see I have 1.2 indicating that this is in decimals, right? Where did I click to adjust? So I use first row, this place, use first row as headers. That would promote your data, right? If you say adjust, I don't know if you meant scroll, but there's a scroll bar here that you can also use to scroll to the right or to the left, okay? Now, when you're done with, your transformation, your data looks okay, right? You can go ahead and come here and then you do this thing that says close and apply. Close and apply. So once you do close and apply, just give it some minutes and it will load in here into Power BI. So the process I have just done is what? ETL, extract, transform, and load. Okay, extract, transform, and load, right? So sometimes, like I mentioned, it takes a second or two for it to load, or it could just be Power BI doing its thing, right? It could just be Power BI doing its thing. So we'll just wait for some time for it to come up. Just wait for it to come up. Right, just a second, just a second, just a second. Okay, so what did I say is, let me ask you questions. What is extract? What is extract? Who knows what extract is? Who knows transform? Who knows what load is? ETL. What did I say extract, transform, and load is? Who remembers? Let me see if we're actually following me. ETL. What is ETL, guys? Who remembers? Wonderful. Yes, so Shegun is following. Extract is getting your data from the third party. Yes, from an external source. Exactly. That is extract. So what is transform? What is transform? So we understand extract. What is transform? Wonderful. Okay. Yes, yes, yes. Solomon, you can download the Power BI on your laptop. I've said go to your just go to your search, the search I don't know if you use Windows 10 or 11, but it doesn't really matter the Windows, right? But just go and look for your Microsoft Store on your computer. Go online, search for Power BI Desktop. Look at it at the top here. Power BI Desktop. Once you can download Power BI Desktop, it's free of charge. This particular version is free for Microsoft Power BI. We also have the paid version. We have the Power BI service. We have there are other versions, right? But this particular one is free of charge. So anybody can use it. Even a student can go ahead and use this, right? Okay. Transform is cleaning the data. Wonderful. Right. Okay. Then what of load? Wonderful. Right. I can see Grant saying load is uploading transform data to Power BI file. Exactly. So this process as well, you can also do it in Excel, right? Fun fact, you can also do this process in Excel. You can extract your data from any source that you like. You transform it in this same Power Query that we have, and then you go ahead and load it to Excel as well. So the same process is more or less like Microsoft saw that, we're doing a lot of stress in Excel. They now decided, okay, why don't we make a tool that can be doing, that can be building visuals basically. So what did they do? They extracted some things, some of the important things from Excel, and then they brought them here to create Power BI, right? So that's why we can actually go ahead and work with Power BI. So I don't know why this is taking too long, but thank you okay. I can see Mayowa saying transform is cleaning and making it compatible. Amazing. Grant's load is uploading the wonderful. Anthony, thank you. Shegun, thank you. All right, so finally it has loaded. Finally, it has loaded. Like I said, it might not always be like this. Sometimes it can also be because this particular instance, remember, we're trying to get data off the internet, right? So sometimes it might take a little longer than it is supposed to be. But now look at the right-hand side. Can you see? Can you see what I have? I have Swift logistics data. So everything that I actually have inside here, online, off the internet, right? What we've just done is we have scraped this data, right? We have scraped this data. We now have delivery ID, we have customer name, we have the customer city, right? So delivery ID is basically for every delivery that has gone out, right? You have an identification number. It's just like the way you have your student ID. There's no students, there are no two students that have the same ID. Just think of like your national identity number, think of like your social security number. No two persons have the same number. That is what this delivery ID is. So for instance, let's assume that a customer is complaining about an order. How do we track that particular customer's order, right? That's why this delivery ID is very important. We have the name of the customer, the city where this was delivered to, the delivery address. We have the driver name. That is the driver that delivered it. We have the vehicle type that this driver used. Did they use a truck? Did he use a bike, or did he use a van? Right? You have exactly, Anthony, unique identifier. Then we have the status of the delivery. Has it been delivered? Is it delayed? Is it failed? Is it in transit? Right? You have the dispatch time, the time it was sent out. You have the estimated time of arrival. When was it expected to get to the person? Then you have the actual time that the delivery got to the person. You have the delay in minutes. You can see that some are 0, right? Anyone that you have 0, it means that the estimated time is the same thing with the actual time. The time they were expecting them to deliver was the time they got there, right? Then you have some that have -23, meaning that maybe the order arrived before the expected time. They arrived early. Then you have 173, meaning that this arrived 173 minutes after it was expected. You have the weight of the package, the shipping costs. Then you have the delivery priority, whether it's express, overnight, or standard. So overnight is more like, in this instance, is more like let's say you want to send documents to somebody, very, very important documents, and you need it there like yesterday. If you get what I mean, you need it ASAP to get to them. You use the overnight, right? So which means that obviously overnight will be more expensive. So the organization will probably be making more money with overnight. And then you have the delivery time. How many hours did it take to get to the customer? So this is the data that we're going to be working with today. All right. So let's dive straight into Power BI. Let's dive straight into Power BI. Right now, we're going to go ahead and answer some of our questions, right? I drafted some questions, which I will just be saying, just because of time, I'll just be working on them, straight. So let's say we look at the total delivery by the status, right? So status, don't forget, we have status here. So Mayo, if you have a question, just drop in the chat box, right? My eye is actually always in the chat box, right? So we're going to look at delivery time by the status, right? Delivery time by the status. Remember, I told you you have different charts that you can pick from here. I'm going to pick one, which is my clustered bar chart. I'll just click on it to bring it in here, right? I'll click on it to bring it in here. I want to place it somewhere here, right? I want to place it somewhere here. Now, remember I said I want the total deliveries by the status. So I'll just come here, look for status. You can see I have status here. I can just check status, check the box that is in front of status. And then remember it says total deliveries, right? Total deliveries. Now, if I say total deliveries, how do I get the number of deliveries that I have? I have to count the delivery ID. Delivery ID. I have to count delivery ID. If you say how many students are in a class, you might need to use their student ID to count the students because no two students will be repeating, if you get what I mean, right? So I'll just come and check delivery ID, right? I'll check delivery ID. But this is my delivery ID. I don't want it in the legend. I want it in the X axis. So I'll just take it up here. I'll take it up here. Now, Power BI is smart enough to know that it's supposed to count it for me, right? You can see that immediately I brought it here, it changed to count of delivery ID. I cannot add up two student IDs together. The only thing I can do is to count the number of students, right? So it was smart enough to change this to what we call because it is a categorical data, it will count it instead, right? Now, this is what we have. We have just visualized this. We did not know this, but because we leverage Power BI, we have now visualized what we're looking at. Okay, Mayowa, are we going to be given these fields to use or where to generate? No, you'll be given the fields to use in your organization, right? So if you're working in logistics, you probably already they have data that they collect from customers. So you should actually, though, you'll be given all of these fields, right? Most organizations would give, except organizations that don't really know the impact of data. Then you might have to collect data, do data collection, right? Identify the fields or the things that they really, really need. I hope that answered your question, Mayowa. All right, so now we have viewed the number of deliveries we have based on status. Now, if you look at this, merely looking at this without me even telling you anything, you can see that we have more failed deliveries, right? Why do we have more failed deliveries? Because the bar is longer. I'm using the bar chart now. This is longer, which means we have more failed deliveries. Something is going on. Why are we having more failed deliveries? And then we have failed and delayed more here. Our delivered items are just about 77, right? We have 79 that is in transit. We have 99 that are delayed. And then we have 133 that are failed, where we actually have to work on something. There's something going on in the organization we should work on. Okay, so we've answered one question. Now let's go ahead and view this based on, let's say, a monthly analysis. We can look at total delivery by month. Let's see the month that we had the most delivery. And obviously, you know that if we have more delivery, it means that we have more money. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and use a line chart. Anytime that you want to work on anything that concerns date or time, you might want to use a line or area chart. Basically, any of these charts that are along this second row here. Right, so I'll just be using the basic line chart, which is the first one here. I'll take it somewhere around here. So like I mentioned, you might not be able to practice this with me, right? But if you need access to everything that I'm working with, you have the attendance form in the chat box. So just fill in your name, your details, your email address, and then we'll send the recording and everything for you to actually work on, to play around with, right? Like I mentioned, total delivery by the month, right? I want to do this based on dispatch time, the actual time that it was supposed to go out. So I'll just check dispatch time. And then I would take my delivery ID and put it in my y-axis. Okay, put it in my y-axis. So I want to see this on a monthly basis because I think it's only about 3 or 4 months in here. So I want to get rid of day. It depends on you now. If you want to do a quarterly analysis, you can do that. But like I said, I have only 1 year and 1 quarter here. So it doesn't really make sense for me to have year and quarter. So I'll get rid of year and then also get rid of quarter. So I'm just going to leave this as monthly analysis. So you can see I have February, March, April, and May, right? So just looking at this, I can tell that in February we have 146 deliveries that went out, and then we had a decline in March. Something is going on. And then we even had the highest in April, and then a very downward slope in May. So either we've not collected enough data for May, or something is really going on in this organization that we should look into. Okay. Like I mentioned, we would not have actually seen this if we did not go down this route of actually doing our analysis or leveraging Power BI. All right. So let's also look at this based on the city of the customer, right? Let's look at the deliveries that we have based on city. So when you're working with anything geographical, like location, state, city, country, county, all those things, you might want to leverage the map visual, the field map. There are different variations of maps here. I think there are about 4 maps here, but I'll just use the basic map that I have here. This one with like the globe icon. So I'll put it somewhere. So what I'm trying to replicate is what we already have here. Let me bring up that again. I'm trying to replicate what we have here, right? This is what we're trying to replicate. Right, so Dayo, how do I know the right visual to use? So like I mentioned, when I was saying this, I said, I've been telling you, if you want to work on anything that concerns time, anything like month, year, all of that, the right visual to use, or the best visual to use in that instance would be a line chart. So you have different variations of line. You have the line, you have area, you have 100% stacked, you have combo, line and stacked bar. Anything along this line would be good for time, right? When you're trying to check trends over time. Then if you want to compare categories, you can use your bar chart or your column chart, right? If you're trying to see maybe the top performing, the best chart would be your bar chart. Okay, now I'm trying to work on anything like location, let's say city, county, country. The best thing to use would be your map visual. I don't know if you got that, Dio. If you did, just give me a yes in the chat box. Right? So I want to visualize this based on the customer city. So I'll also go ahead and look for customer city, right? Check the customer city and then also go and get my delivery ID. So for my delivery ID, I want to take it to bubble size, right? Bubble size in the sense that the more the delivery for each city, right, the bigger the bubble. You can see that I have smaller bubble. They have different sizes, right? You see this one, this is New York. I have 86 deliveries in New York. Just looking at New York, you can see that the bubbles are bigger, which means that I have more deliveries here in New York. And then I have this other one here. I think this is Seattle, right? And then you have like the smaller ones below, Los Angeles and the rest. Okay, so just merely looking at this visual, I know that we have the most deliveries coming from New York. Okay, so we've looked at this using our map visual, our location. Now, the next thing we can look at is maybe the average delivery based on like the different vehicle type. So, you know, we have van, we have truck, and then we have bike. Let's see the one that has the least average delivery time. Okay, so we'll go ahead and let's use like a column chart. Let's use a column chart. Column chart is somewhere around the first row, right? At the top where you also have the bar chart. You can use either of them to compare categories. I use this because I wanted to see the top performing, the one with the highest delivery, right? Based on status. Okay, so let's look for vehicle type, and then I will take delivery time. Okay, but this my delivery time is showing me as sum. What I want to see it as is average delivery time. So I'm just going to click on this drop down here and change this to average. Change it to average. Now you can see that truck, right? The trucks that we have are averaging 25 hours in delivery. And then we have van just closely beside it with 23 hours. But look at bike, right? It means that our bikes are actually doing very fast. So we might want to look at this. If we have our bikes doing well, then maybe why not add more bikes instead of getting trucks and vans, or just limit trucks for like long distance deliveries, right? And use bike for like short deliveries. Okay, because bikes are really doing us well, and it's making us spend less because you're not buying as much, you know, petrol that you would use for truck and vans, right? Okay, so another thing we can look at is total delivery based on delivery priority. So I'll just use a pie chart for that, or a donut chart, right? So if you want to see percentage of a whole, then you go ahead and use a donut or a pie chart. Okay, so delivery priority, That is to see those that are overnight, those that are standard, and all of that. So we're using delivery ID. Yes, delivery ID. I want this in values. Okay, I want this in values. So you see what it looks like. You see what it looks like. Okay, so I'll just bring this down so I can maximize the space I already have. But the things I'm going to put at the top. Okay, so another thing about Power BI is nice enough to also give you like some sort of, if you move it around, you can notice that I have like a red line that is giving me sort of like, it's telling me this is the demarcation between, two charts, right? So if I want to arrange my charts, I can leverage the alignment, the alignments that Power BI gives me. So you see that when I move it down, there's a red line just telling me where I am. If I go down here, it's telling me that I'm on the same line with my map. If I take it up, it's telling me I'm on the same line with the other chart beside me. Okay, so you can just use this to do some basic arrangement to your charts. Right? So of course, for every dashboard that you have, you should have something called key metrics. What are key metrics? Key metrics is more like showing you the performance, the overall health of the organization, right? Something that you can look at a glance, like numbers that you can look at as a glance, right? Without having to look at all of this. If somebody asks you, how many deliveries do we have in February? You should have something called a card visual. So card visual is always represented with 1, 2, 3. Just look for 1, 2, 3. There are 2 of them, right? This is a newer one. You can use that one. You have more customization for this, but I want to use the basic card, right? I want to use the basic card. So I'll just put it here. Why am I using this card? I'm using this card so I can see, like I mentioned, the overall health of the organization, right? How many deliveries are we even having? Does it our deliveries good enough? Are we doing as much as we expected to do? For companies that have KPI, right? Like their key performance, how far away are they from their goal? Okay, so for this one, like I said, we want to see how many deliveries that we have. So I'll just check delivery ID. Okay, so delivery ID, because I told you is a categorical data, so you want to come here, hit the drop down, and then you click on count distinct. Note that I'm doing count distinct instead of count, right? Count distinct basically means that if you have counted something before, don't count it again. It's like wanting to count, let's assume you have 15, let's say you have 15 students and 3 of them are Amaka Daniels, right, in your class. How do you differentiate the 3 Amaka Daniels from each other? You have to use their ID, right? So you want to make sure that you're not counting Amaka Daniels multiple times, right? You're counting just one Amaka Daniels. You don't count Amaka Daniels multiple times. Or what if, let me give you a better analogy. Let's say you have a test score of many students, right? How do you imagine your student has written Excel exam, let me put it that way, Excel, Power BI, SQL, all these exams. You have repetition of the students because all their records are in there, right? But if you want to count how many students, you want to count this exactly, unique value. Thank you, Olayinka. It's like having unique values in Excel. You're not counting multiple times. You're just counting once. That's why I'm doing count distinct. Okay, we can also look at a glance. Let's look at the average delivery time that we have. I'll also bring in the card visual, right? I'll also represent it here. So delivery time, and then we'll change this to average instead of sum, right? So it makes more sense. Let's see how many hours it is taking us to deliver our goods, right? Then we'll also look at maybe average delay time, right? Average delay time. We'll also bring in our card visual and then put in delay minutes. So we would as well change this to average instead of sum. Average makes more sense so that we'll know the bound where we are, right? So merely looking at this, right? We have not even started I'm just going to do basic designs, but merely looking at this, we've done a lot of things for this organization, right? You can see how many deliveries that we have in total between February to May. We have a total of 388 deliveries. So if the company expected to have 1,000 deliveries, right? You see that they are below expectation. Then you have the average delivery time. It means that on an average, it takes us to deliver one parcel in 17.85 hours. This is not good enough because this might make customers angry. Why is it taking so many hours to deliver? Except this is contributed by maybe different locations because we have to move deliver from one city to another. Then we have the delay time, right? In minutes, 20 minutes. Why are we delaying? What is making us take so long? We're supposed to deliver in time or even before time. Okay, then we'll also look at this. This is also a challenge because 52% of our deliveries are from overnight, right? This is good, which means we're making more money. If you look at, they didn't really give us their financial data, but if you're looking at overnights, right? Generally, overnight will be more, expensive. You'll be paying more. If you want your goods delivered in like 7 hours or 6 hours, you want to pay more money for that, right? As opposed to the others. But if you now check this as opposed to this delivery status, right? We have a lot of failed orders. We have to do something about this. We have to do something about this. Then for our delivery by month, in February and then in April, right? We have very high deliveries. We might want to implement whatever it is we did in February and April to May and March. And also look at the cities that we have the most customers and the ones we have the least. Okay. Let me see. I think I saw a question. Can I get the recording of this later, please? So if you look down just below your chart, you will see a place that says kindly fill this attendance. So click on it, put in your details. You have access to the recording, and then you also have access to the material that I used if you want to, replicate what I already have here. So I'm just going to do a bit of formatting because I think my time is up, right? But I'll just do a bit of formatting to show you how to play around with the Power BI features. Okay, so we're going to, one thing I like to do personally is, one second. Right, so one thing I like to do is, to put in like a background. Is optional, but I like to put in a background color just to make it toned down. So if I click an empty space, so note that if you click on any of these charts, it means that you want to, Power BI will assume that you want to format either of the charts that you selected. Click an empty space so that you work on the canvas background, right? So I'll just come to the right here where I have the visualization pane. I was in build visual. Now I am going to format your visual. So I'll just go to canvas background, maybe just pick like a toned down. Like I said, I'm trying to do something. Yeah. So you can either increase, or you can see this. If I move the transparency, it gives me this. If I move it to just a little bit, if you want something toned down, you can always reduce it to your satisfaction. So like I said, I'm not trying to do too much. I'm increasing this to maybe 95%, 96%. Right? I think this is fine. I just want it to be subtle. Okay. So I'll just go ahead and also arrange this, arrange. Right. So actually dashboarding is not always as fast as it looks here. Sometimes it takes a lot more time, if I'm being honest, right? Because you want to make sure that you're doing something that is, pleasing to the eye, especially if you have to submit this to your, I'm assuming that you'll be submitting this to your boss. So I'm just trying to arrange this a little bit, make sure that it looks really good. Or at least let it look good enough, if you get what I mean, right? Just little arrangement. I'm leveraging Power BI's alignment to arrange this. Okay. All right, so like I mentioned, I know that you can't practice this with me, but what you can do is fill in the details in the attendance form. Okay, fill in your details in the attendance form. So you have access to this, and then you can also go ahead and practice. You can go ahead and practice. All right. Now, something else, of course, I cannot just take this to my boss. I have to also, what is the name of this dashboard? What am I doing? What is the aim? It has to have a title, right? Your dashboards have to have a title. So what I can do is either I bring in something called a text box, or I bring in a shape. But just because I want to add color to this, I'll just bring in a shape. So if you come to insert at the top here, you can see you can bring in text box, you can bring in shape, you can bring in an image if the company has like a logo or something. So I'll just bring in shape. I'll use this. You can have any option. There are different options here for shape, right? So I'll just bring in one here. And then I want to take it to the top. I want to take it to the top here and just take it this way. So if you go on the internet, you have different designs. This is just like a basic design for the Power BI, dashboard, right? And then I'll go ahead and type in this shape, right? Now, unlike Excel, in Excel, I can just go ahead and type in this shape, but in Power BI, you might have to come here to style. Okay, come to style, you have fill, you can change the color. It's currently blue, you can change it to any color of your choice. I'll just come to text here, turn it on. Okay, expand this, and I'll just type in the name, right? I'll call it Swift Logistics, say dashboard. Swift Logistics dashboard. Okay, I think I got the spelling of dashboard wrong. All right, so like I mentioned, if you have any question, put it in the chat box. If I know you can't practice with me, just put it in, just fill in the form that is being sent in the group. So I'll make this, let's say 35. Let me see. Okay, then 30. So you can go ahead and increase the font size. You can see, you can make it bold. You can even go ahead and change the color. If you don't like the color that you're looking at, you can change the alignments. There are a bunch of things you can do in formatting, right? You can take it to the left. You can see, you can put it in the middle. You can put it on the right. Okay, so put it on the, for me, I'm putting it on the left. So Ekanem, so you have to hold on, please. Let me try to round up, and then I'll take your questions, right? Okay, so another thing that you want to add is something called a slicer, right? So your slicer is like a filter, sort of like a filter. Okay, so I want to filter by customer city. I want to filter by customer city. So I can just come here. It's also a visual. This is a slicer. I'll bring in slicer, and then I'll turn on customer city. Okay, turn on customer city. Right, so what I want to do is when I click on, let me take this to the right here. If I click on Chicago, can you see what is happening to my entire dashboard? Do you see that it's filtering everything to just Chicago? If I want to check on Dallas alone, I can see for just Dallas alone. Can you see? Right, that is what this particular slicer is. That's why we call it like slicer. It's basically slicing. You're taking a portion of your data out to get insights. Right, so if I want to know what has happened in the LA in the LA market, or like the LA, let me say customers in LA, right? How well are they doing? You can see that in February, we had the highest order from LA alone. You can look at New York. You can investigate all of these things. Okay, so this slicer, I want to fix it up. I don't want it to be like this because it's covering the rest of my my chart, right? So I just click on it, come here, and then go to slicer setting, change from vertical list to tile. Or instead of tile, you can even pick a drop down, anyone that you like. Anyone that you like. So I'll just put it up here, right? Put it up here, and then make sure that I also come to the values here. Or instead of going to the values, I think the background, maybe I'll make it, either I'll make it blue, or I'll even go to general and turn it off completely. Let's see. I can turn it off completely so it blends in here, right? It blends in here. So right, so Olayinka, no, you cannot do a timeline here in Power BI, right? It's only in Excel that you have your timeline, right? So we have just slicers here, right? So I can do another formatting. I'll just click on this. Like I said, I'm just doing a very basic dashboard. Of course, if you come to 10 Analytics, would teach you something a lot better than this, right? I'm sure you enjoy your class if you come. So you can turn on visual border, right? Just to put a little bit of effect on this. I can even go ahead and make this rounded, say like 2px or even 3, maybe 3, right? Like 3px. You can see I have like a border around it. Okay. You can change the color of your border. You can play around with this. It's pretty interesting. The best way to learn Power BI is to actually play with Power BI, right? Play with Power BI. So let me come back to this visual border. I think I want to change it to like ash color. So it's a bit toned down. Okay, so something like this. So another thing, you can also copy your formatting and place on all these charts that you have here. So I'll just click on this, come to my home tab, and then I have the format painter. It's like a brush. I'll click on this and then click here. It takes the formatting. That border that I have on this one, you can see that it's also on this, right? You can do this for all of them. So if you do any sort of formatting, you can just copy and then paste on the others. You can see this. right? I don't need to do all of this one by one again. I don't need to do all of this one by one again. I just format painter, come and paste. Click on format painter, come and paste here, right? Automatically it's going to pick whatever formatting I've added to the previous chart is also going to go ahead and pick it, right? So we have used Power BI to actually extract insight for this organization. But now the fun part of this entire thing that we've been doing, remember we said real time, right? Which means if we come back to our sheet, let me come back to the sheet. Let me come back to the sheet 1 second. Okay. So like I mentioned, if you click on this, you can add your email, your name, and all of that. Just put in the details here, right? Now, if I want to, let's assume, remember I told you the customer care representatives, they can come in, put in extra data every day. They'll just come in, copy their data, put in there, copy data, put in there, or type in their data. However it is they want to impute data for you in this sheet, right? You as the analyst, you have given them access to this sheet, right? Now, every time that you have new data that comes in. So I want you to take note of this. This is 388 deliveries, right? And then we have 78.85 hours. So I want you to look at this. Look at this. So you don't have this. I'm just bringing up random data, right? I'm going to go ahead and copy this. I'm copying everything in here, right? I've done Control A to highlight, then Control C to copy. So I want to come and paste it here. I want to paste it here after this place. So remember, the scenario I'm giving you is imagine that your somebody comes here, there's a new delivery that has gone out, right? They can just come and put in the data for you. So I've pasted new data here. Don't forget, we're working with what? 388, right? Now we have more data. Let's say somebody in our California office puts in the details, somebody in Chicago office puts in their details, right? And all of them are coming in from different parts of the US. Now, you as the analyst, you cannot keep building a dashboard every day, every single day of your life, right? If you've already built one, you just connect it. Now, the moment you come to this home tab, see this thing that says refresh. Can you see refresh? If I click on refresh, you see what happens. If I click on refresh, you would see what happens. Just give it a second. Give it a second. So remember, like I mentioned, it's coming off the internet. So it might take a second or two before it goes back to that connection. So let me try to look at your questions and actually attend to them while this refreshes. Okay. So I'm trying to go up. All right. The last thing I see, Abby, can I get the recording of this? So like I mentioned, Abby, you can fill in your details, right? Fill in your details in the attendance form here. Just click on the link and fill in your details, and the recording and everything will be sent across to you. Okay, let me see the other 1 second. I'm just scrolling. Why not have the time in the same units, e.g., hour of delivery and average delays? The time in the same unit. So the time was not given to us in the same unit, so we cannot really have the same unit. If you choose that you want to see this in minutes, this will look longer than what it is, right? You might have to multiply 60 by 17.85, and the company gave you in hours, right? So, I mean, just leave it the way it is, right? Just leave it the way it is. Can we do average delivery time against cities? Yes, definitely. You can do average delivery time against cities, Shegun. Right? So there are many things you can actually do here. There are many things, but like I said, this is a master class, so we can't do a lot of things. I can only show you the basic things, okay? Then, so I know Power BI is a Microsoft tool. My question is, can I do this on my Mac, or so you need Windows laptop. So I don't know why Microsoft has said not to launch Power BI for Mac, right? So you actually need, a Windows laptop to do this. That's the only way you can get it, except you move around maybe do something like parallel or something just to get Power BI in your MacBook. Okay. Tracy, sorry, I did not start from the start. I'm totally lost. What is this under so I can request for the recording? So Tracy, just fill in the attendance and you get the details that you need. You get all the details that you need. All right. I don't know if I've attended to all the questions. So if you have any more questions, please put it in the chat box. Right. Ekanem, I don't seem to, okay, I think I see your question. From the dashboard, which months and cities had the most failed and delayed deliveries? So like I mentioned, right, this is a master class, so we cannot cover everything all at once. I've even taken 15 minutes out of the time that I'm allocated for this entire project I'm doing, right? So you can always go ahead and, like you said, deep dive into whatever it is that you want to find out. You are the one that will ask the question as an analyst. If you want to work on maybe analysis based on the city, you can go on and dive deeper into the cities, right? If you want to check more on extra months, you can go on and add more data, right? Bring in more things. I think I've answered Olayinka's question. No timeline, we have slicers. All right. What was the connector to make the real-time show? So we used Google Sheets, right? We connected from Google Sheets because we're seeing it in real time, which means you don't have to be there with all the customer care agents that will be putting in their details, right? Automatically, once they put in their details, you just come here and refresh. I don't know why mine is not refreshing. You just come here, refresh, and it will automatically fill in the details that you need. Okay. All right. Is there anything like procurement data analytics for? You need data analysts for every organization. There's no organization that does not need a data analyst, because if you're not collecting data in this 21st century, I don't know what you are doing in your organization, right? It's not going to be easy for you. All right. So let me see. This means that we can't do Power BI on MacBook. Like I said, Susan, you have to find a way. Is it Susan or Sujan? I'm sorry. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but you have to find a way around it. Maybe you do something like parallel or you partition. Okay, that's the only way that it would work for you. Can I use Power BI on my Android? So we have Power BI as an app actually, but that is the paid version. This is the free version. Your organization will have to pay for that for you to get that, okay? So if the spreadsheet is on SharePoint and the data is updated there, do you still need to copy and paste it and sync automatically? No, if it syncs automatically, you would have to come here to come and click on refresh so you get the data. I don't know why mine is doing like this, but I will show you the refreshed data. Can you give us a clue on the type of charts or data to use for various analysis? So Mayo, I already mentioned this. So if you fill in the details, you will get everything that you need. Okay, so let me come back here. All right, so normally, like I mentioned, once you refresh, as you put in data, for me, I have put in data. Let me come back here. This is supposed to refresh to 449 or 448, 448, right? It's supposed to refresh to 448. So sometimes, like I mentioned, it might just be internet just messing around with your results. Okay, it might just be the internet messing around with your results. Okay, do we do any coding on Power BI? We have DAX. We have the DAX function, right, that we use on Power BI. Okay. So, Prince, I believe that is all. I hope that I've answered everybody's question. But like I mentioned, you can always update this, right? Just click on that refresh button and it gives you the updated form. Maybe before the end of the class, if I'm able to update this, then I will show you the rest of it. So just hang in to the end of the class. Right. Thank you very much, Prince. Sorry about that. Sorry I took your time.
That's all fantastic. I was actually also enjoying the class, just like I believe every other person that is on the call is also enjoying. If you really enjoyed what Ameka did, can you put a 1 in the chat before we dive into the things you'll be looking at today? All right, Ameka, thank you so much. You can see a whole lot of people enjoyed what you just did, including me myself.
Thank you.
And fantastic. It was
Thank
actually very
you.
fantastic. Thank you so much. So I'm saying on their behalf and on behalf of myself, we are saying thank you for showing us this fantastic opportunity to be able to leverage Power BI to get into what you'll be looking at today. Now, diving into what we'll be talking about, which is now that Amaka has shown us what we can do with Power BI, now we want to leverage Power BI to get into that high-paying job opportunity, because everything she has done is to showcase how you are able to leverage Power BI to get yourself a job. And when you get a job, these are the things you'll be looking at doing on the job. Now, when we're looking at on the job, what we should now be looking at is what type of role exactly can I get into with Power BI? What are the jobs? What are the type of jobs I can see myself doing using Power BI? And what we do in that regards is, so before we even arrive at any of the programs that you'll be looking at to take in analytics, we went ahead to search all the major job boards. And what we are looking for is, we're looking for jobs that are really high in demand. So we went ahead to look at Indeed, Glassdoor, CV Library, Monster Jobs, just to understand jobs that are really in demand by organizations. And when we got the data, we collected all the data and we analyzed it based on 3 major criteria, right? And the 3 major criteria is number 1, ease of learning. For example, what Amaka just did now is she putting you through how to use Power BI to build a dashboard in Power BI and set it to update automatically. This is something that even if you don't have prior knowledge or prior skill, by working through what Amaka just did and also doing it by, let's say, probably you've been able to fill the form, you got the video, you practice. By the time you watch Amaka do it one more time and you do it yourself, you will be able to get it. Meaning that is an example of the ease of learning. You will be able to easily learn whatever that's been taught, all right? Then you have the ease of transitioning. You don't have to come from any technical background before you are able to do exactly what Amaka just did. Then definitely the high rewarding salary, all right? And today, what we're talking about is are those career paths that have Power BI in whatever you'll be looking to transition. So we have other programs that are able to transition to, but today we're going to be focusing on career path you can transition into that has Power BI in it, and that is the business analysis, the data analyst, the financial analyst, and the HR analyst. Okay, these are the 4 career paths that we'll be looking at. Now, when we are talking about these particular programs that we've been able to get, based on these 3 major criteria, what we did was we went ahead to seek external validation, meaning by going through any of these particular career paths, you are able to learn, transition, and get yourself a high rewarding salary. But what is that guarantee that after you've transitioned, 5 years down the line, you will not see the organization telling you they don't need you anymore? That is where we went to seek external validation, all right? And according to the Future of Job report, a whole lot of jobs will be created and a whole lot more will lose its value, all right? You have a lot more organizations canceling some other jobs and some jobs will not be relevant anymore. And according to World Economic Forum, right, 170 million jobs, new jobs will be created. And as that is being created, 90 million jobs will totally disappear. Now, that is according to the World Economic Forum, the body that regulates and understands exactly how you should be looking to transition. And when you are looking at transitioning, you should be looking at being part of those 170 million and not being in that space of being in 92 million that will disappear in no time. And when we are looking at, according to also the World Economic Forum, you will see that what I have on my screen, you have some career paths that is on your right-hand side, and you have some that is on the left-hand side. What this is telling you is, if you see any of your career path or what you do presently is on the right side of the screen, these are part of the 92 million that is going to disappear. All right. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you find a way to move from the right-hand side of your screen onto the left-hand side of the screen. And if you're looking at the left-hand side of the screen, there you have it being data analyst. All right. The number one on the list is data analyst, which is big data specialist. That's to show you that if you're looking to work with data, just like Amaka has just said, you will be one of the most sought after professionals in years to come, according to the World Economic Forum. So if you're looking to transition, you want to make sure that whatever you do, you have data in it. And if you look at the next one, which is the one circled in yellow, you have the data analyst, the financial analyst, and also the HR analyst. Okay, so these are career paths that you want to make sure that they are also high in demand. And if you look at the last one, which is in purple, you will see the process automation specialist. These are places where the business analysts catch their tent. They are the process automation masters, and their career path is super high in demand. All right. And these are people that able on their day-to-day activities and what they do, they get to use Power BI. All right. Now, also you have the business intelligence analyst, which is also that aspect of data analytics. Then you also have management and organization analysts. All right. So these are the places, these are the areas where you'll be able to see yourself transitioning to according to the World Economic Forum, according to what I'll be telling you and the technical insights I'll be showing you later on this today. Now, when we're looking at who is a data analyst, just like Amaka just showed you, a data analyst, that person that will get data, analyze it, just like she's going to analyze all those rows and columns to understand yourself as a startup company. You need a data analyst to make sense of whatever that you're doing. All right. If you are also a big firm company, you also need data analysts to make sense of whatever that is going on within the organization. And a data analyst, what they get to do is two basic things, two major things. They go ahead to solve for what we call the diagnostics analytics, which is what happened, and the descriptive analysis, which is what happened, and the diagnostics analysis, which is why did it happen. For example, now the data set that Maka just walked you through, the challenge is they are having delivery late in delivery. They're having a whole lot of time taking for deliveries. So exactly this is what happened. If you go ahead to analyze this data, you'll be able to see that the bikes delivery have more faster delivery time taken. They get things done delivered as fast as possible. So in that sense, diving more into that particular data set, you'll be able to understand why they are having that challenges. And your duty as a data analyst is to give them solution based on what you've been able to do that Amaka just showed you. So in case you're unable to really walk through what Amaka just did, like she has mentioned, make sure you fill the form, all right? So you'll be able to get that data set, you'll be able to get the video also, be able to work on it, and also this particular slide that I'm working with, you will also be able to get it, all right? So make sure you fill the form, so you'll be able to get value for everything. Now, also, we're looking at who is a business analyst. A business analyst is that professional who analyze an organization's business process and be able to optimize it. So okay. All right. Can you do confirm you can see my screen? Can you hear me now? Okay, fantastic. So like I was saying, all right, fantastic. So let me go ahead. So the business analyst in this particular scenario of the data set you just analyzed, what a business analyst should be doing it. You see the time taken for that delivery, those long time taking. It is the duty of a business analyst now to analyze that particular business process and make sure that that 17 minutes, which is the average time taken, is reduced to probably maybe 5 minutes. That is the duty of a business analyst. They optimize the business process, making sure that if they meet it at level 1, they take it up to level 2 or even level 3. That is where a business analyst is. And to be able to do that, they need Power BI. They need data skills. All right. Now, these are what you'll be able to learn by going through the business analysis program. And the third one we have is the financial analyst. All right. The financial analyst, as the word is very simple, these are people that analyze data to give organizations that smart investment decision. So when you see an organization saying they want to buy another company, or they are looking to buy a particular investment, a machinery for their production or for whatever they do for their manufacturing, they just don't go ahead to buy it. What they do is they go and meet the financial analyst, and the financial analyst will run the figures, will do the analysis, and be able to tell them if that particular investment is a viable one, if that particular investment is a good one, if it's a smart option, the financial analyst will be the one to tell them that. All right. Nelson, you can always drop if you have any question, you can always drop in the chat box. I will always run through the chat box and answer whatever question that you have. Now, again, to be a financial analyst, these are people that are data analysts that analyze financial data sets. All right. So you are also still in that particular space of working with data and getting things done with data. And when we're talking about the HR professionals, these are people that they work with data, people's data, to make sure that organizations get the best value from the people that are working with them. And to be able to get that value, they need a HR professional to be able to analyze people's data and be able to help the organization make best decision about who exactly they want to hire. They might be having a whole lot of issues, which I'll explain a little bit later on. The HR professional is that person that will analyze the data and be able to help the organization solve people's related problem. For example, let's say the organization is dealing with high level of attrition. They have a lot of people coming in, and as they're coming in, they are going back out. So what might be the reason? It lies in the data. And the only person that can do that is the HR professional. All right. Now, this is something that you will also be able to get advantage of. And when you're talking about the data analyst, the business analyst, and so lot, these are some of the areas whereby you're able to see yourself working. While Amaka was talking, I think Bliss asked a question that, are you able to work as a procurement analyst or a procurement data analyst? I saw that question. And I was like, you see, as a data analyst, you can work in any organization. And if you look at number 7 on the screen, whereby showing where you'll be able to work, you can see that is a procurement analyst. All right. So if you see the roles where you'll be able to work as a business intelligence, all these roles are where you'll be able to function and be able to work as a data analyst. All right. So you want to really take advantage of learning exactly what it is to be a data analyst and key into that space. And when we're looking at being a business analyst, what are the things you need to become a business analyst? All right. So just like Amaka has said, the key things you need, number 1, you need skills of like a data analyst, which is Excel, Power BI, and SQL. You will learn how to analyze data, retrieve data from the database using SQL, be able to identify, analyze it with Excel and Power BI. This is something you'll be able to do as a business analyst. And the reason, remember, the logistics company is to understand what is going on within the organization so you can streamline it. You can make it better, right? So this is why you'll be learning Power BI, Excel, and SQL. Then you'll also be learning some technicality that is only pertaining
All right, hello guys. So I believe Muhyiddin is probably having some technical issues. So while we wait for him, I don't know, can anybody hear me? Just put a yes if you can hear me in the chat box, please. Can you hear me? All right, so while we wait for him, let me just quickly show you. I have finally updated this. Right, so can you see my screen? Or has Muhyiddin started sharing? Right, I don't know if Muhyiddin is still here. Muhyiddin, can you hear me? I think if you're speaking, you're muted, Muhyiddin.
Oh, apologies. I was speaking. I didn't know I was.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Okay, let me
Oh,
stop sharing
apologies.
then.
I was muted. I didn't know it automatically muted me. All right. So, like I was saying, I believe you can hear me now.
Yes, you're good to
All right,
go.
fantastic. So, like I was saying, you also learn project initiation planning, which is you learn skills on how to manage a particular project, plan it before you go ahead to execute it. And when you're looking at execution, you have the Agile and Scrum for projects. So you learn all these skills to be very efficient as a business analyst. All right. And if you're looking at the tools you'll be learning, so you see yourself learning tools like Lucid Chart and Draw.io for your process mapping. After you must have learned your basic skill, your tools as a data analyst. You see yourself learning Draw.io, Lucid Chart to map out your process. Then you see yourself learning Trello and Jira to manage your team and to also manage your project deliverables. So by the time you are done with it, you also see yourself learning ChatGPT for analytics, which is you also being at the top of whatever that is being involved, learning, understanding whatever that is going on. All right. So these are the things you'll be able to learn. And your learning part, you have 6 months in class training and you have 2 months duration for your internship. So what you get to do in your 6 months is you get to work on projects, real life projects that you'll be able to learn, just like you've been able to work on a logistic project with Amaka. You'll be working on projects to learn how to be a business analyst. What you just watch Amaka do to is teach you how to work with some things in Power BI using a project. So these are things you'll be seeing yourself do in class. You work on a project to solve real life cases. It's applicable to business analysis and it's also applicable to any of the programs that you'll be taking. Now, when we're looking at being a data analyst, all right, the data analyst and the path you'll be learning problem solving because one of the key things you will be as a data analyst is you get to solve organizational problems, right? So you learn exactly how to solve it because the problem faced by the logistics company, when you see yourself working as a health data analyst, they have different challenge. So how exactly are you able to identify the approach to solve the problem? That is where you get to learn the CRIPS DM of problem solving, right? So you learn how to solve a problem, then you learn Excel, you learn SQL, and definitely you learn Power BI. Then also you'll be learning Tableau. Now, both of them are business intelligence too, but as a data analyst, you'll be having both skills to be able to work with both. Then you also be learning data storytelling. Data storytelling is the act of, after you must have analyzed a data set, how are you able to communicate this particular insight to non-technical stakeholders to be able to understand the challenge that they are facing and be able to take action. All right. So these are the things you'll be learning. And as you are learning others, you also learn ChatGPT for analytics and Microsoft Fabric for analytics. And remember, as you're learning them, you're learning using a tool to master everything that you'll be learning. Also, the program has 8 months duration. You have 6 months in class training and 2 months internship. Internship is where you get to now work on real life cases to build your skill and be able to get yourself into that tech space to get a job. Now, the third one is, like I said, the financial analysts. These are the people that work in the financial space, giving organization the ability to take advantage of making that smart financial decision before they go ahead to take any major financial decision. All right. So you work as a financial analyst, you learn how to work as a data analyst first before you go ahead to take the skill down to area of financial analytics and things that are only prone for financial analysts. I'm talking about you learning how to build a financial model. A financial model is something that many organizations, they are really looking to get professionals in this space. Financial model is that how you be able to predict and build a particular model to tell an organization if whatever investment option they are looking to dive into is going to be either profitable or is going to be a loss. So the financial model will be able to show 1 year detail of what is going to happen with this particular investment or purchase, 2 years, 3 years, even 5 years. So before an organization dive into taking that decision, investing money into a particular thing, they already have the model to tell them exactly what their profit is going to be at the end of 1 year or what their loss is going to be at the end of 1 year. So you don't just see any organization just taking blind decision to say they want to spend money or buy whatever. They always need a financial analyst to guide them in that space. So you can understand how critical. And when you're looking at also taking the program, you've been in class for 6 months. All the program, you have 6 months in class training and 2 months internship. All right. Now, the last one we're talking about for now is going to be the people's person, the HR. Everybody wants to be friends with these people. And that is because these are the professionals that analyze whatever that might be going on within the organization. So after they've been a very fantastic data analyst, you will now see them taking the skill into analyzing people's data and making sure that organizations get the best value from whoever that is working with them. All right. So to be an HR professional is also you being a data analyst, but now have the skill of managing people's data. All right. So these are the things you'll be able to learn and to be able to have you working with Power BI in everything that you get to do. Okay. So these are the areas that you will see yourself working in that space. And when we're looking at, like I said, the program also is 6 months in class training and 2 months internship. And if you're looking at the training, the analytics has been in that space, training people that don't have any technical background to landing, being able to get skilled, have enough experience to be able to see them landing their first role in tech. And with this training, you'll be having a unique opportunity to have analytics and diary on your CV, all right? So Ray, you said those financial analyst has storytelling as well. So it depends on the situation. So for example, let's say you build a financial model and the team that the stakeholders you are presenting it to, they don't really understand. So yes, you will have the ability to just explain what you've been able to build to them and be able to tell them how impactful this can be to the organization. So yes, these are some things that you will learn by going through the program. All right. Now, everything I just talked about, these are just the technical skills. These are just technical skills. Everything I mentioned, they are just technical skills. And your technical skills is just 50% of what we tend to offer. The other 50% that will make it a complete package for you is what we call the employability. And when we're talking about the employer, now you have a skill as a data analyst. How exactly does this skill as a data analyst or as a financial analyst, how exactly does it get you the job? All right. And that is where your employability skill plays a key role. All right. And the first thing you'll be doing in your employability skill is learning how to review and revamp your CV. Many people on this call, I'm certain they have one job or the other, they've done something before, but how exactly do you bring all this experience back into play to now be able to revamp it and have you speak as either a business analyst or a data analyst or financial or HR analyst? This particular session, you have professionals that will walk you through how exactly to get that done. So when you're applying to jobs, you apply to job now So you probably used to be an admin officer. Now you're a business analyst. When you're applying to jobs, things you've been able to do as an admin officer, you'll be able to speak and relate to it like when you were on the job as an admin officer, you've been working as a business analyst. All right. This is something that you'll be able to do when you go through the the CV review and revamp session. Then we also have what we call the LinkedIn optimization. When you see yourself as a professional applying to jobs, you don't want to limit all your application to maybe jobs you apply to using your CV. All right. You want to apply to jobs, those jobs that you don't even know that are existing. You want to really apply to them. All right. And that is where LinkedIn is going to be of advantage to you, because on the matter, as a matter of fact, within Analytics itself, when we want to hire, before we even say we want to post out any job posting or applications, we first of all look within the company, then we look on LinkedIn. What we do is we just search directly for that professional, and if we're able to get people that match the qualifications that we're looking for, we reach out to them and see if we're able to work with them. What we do is what a whole lot of organizations do. They don't even get to post these jobs, yet jobs and roles get filled every day. So how exactly do you take advantage? That is where you learn how to optimize your LinkedIn to now speak as a financial analyst, or to speak as a data analyst or a business analyst, or even an HR professional, so that even jobs you don't know that are existing, you will have people searching your profile, reaching out to you via your DMs, and see if you're able to work with them. All right, this is something that you'll be able to learn how to do seamlessly by going through the employability session. Then you have another session that will teach you how to navigate the job market. What we do in this part is we have professionals that are top in the field. We bring them back into your classes, and we have them teach you and walk you through how exactly you will be able to navigate the job market. It does not matter where you're joining from. It doesn't matter the type of job you're looking for. You will always learn how exactly to navigate the job market to get exactly what you're looking at. And when you get it, interview preparation is what we offer. You'll be able to schedule a one-on-one interview prep, and you have a professional that will guide you on how exactly to go into your interview, introduce yourself using the SEAT approach, and also answering questions using your STAR technique. All these things you might seem you don't really understand what I'm saying, but trust me, by the time you go through the interview preparation, you'll be able to understand everything I must have mentioned. And when you get a job, we offer reference letters and recommendation letter, because if you are joining from, so when you join, when Amaka started, I have a lot of people joining from UK, US, Canada. You will know that having recommendation letter is a big deal, right? So by going through the program, you'll be able to have Analytics give you recommendation letter, as when you were working with Analytics as a consultant, you're able to do these days pertaining to whatever program or whatever job we're looking to go for. So that's something we offer 100%. Then you have the on-the-job support. You just get trained, you just have your skills. You get on your job and you have some little bit of issues you're looking to resolve. You don't have to go looking for somebody to fix it for you. You can always double back to Analytics, and we'll have a professional come on board with you and have you solve that particular challenge you might be having. Then you have the weekly mentorship session. These are people, considering the fact that you're just seeing yourself coming into this space, you don't have any technical experience, you've done nothing in the tech space. Diving into it might be a little bit tedious, might be a little bit doubting. But when you have a mentor holding your hand, guiding you to what to do, what not to do, how better to do things to put you in that space, you will be better off in whatever you do. And this is something that many people, most of us do lack, all right? Because what you see is some of us will go ahead to say, okay, we want to get some things done. But by the time you say, let's say, for example, want to learn a new skill and probably want to go on YouTube to watch it. But when you're watching, you see something that shouldn't take more than 3 days, it's starting to take over a month. That is because there's no measure, there's no mentor to hold you to do this or do that. This is something that you'll be able to have somebody do for you within Analytics, right? Then you have the Upwork optimization session. This is focusing on people that want to get skilled and be able to offer their services to individuals and organizations at the same time. So you have a professional that will walk you through how to set up your Upwork profile to be able to leverage your skill to get job both from individuals and organization at the same time. Now, what we also do is when we are talking about navigating, don't leave you out there to learn and start doing what you do. So what we also do is we have a system in place whereby all premium websites, like you can see on my screen, we have built-in, we have Indeed Jobs, all these websites, we go ahead, we scrape the data from there, and we bring all these jobs to your learning management system. And what that means is you'll be able to go on your learning management system. For example, you see you have data operations analyst, you have data analyst, you have roles that you'll be able to go directly on your learning management system and you'll be able to apply to them. And even on this particular job, you'll be able to see those that come with sponsorship in case you're somebody that needs it and those that don't even have sponsorship. So if that is what you're looking for company that will offer probably that offer H-1B visa, or you're looking at companies that offer COS. This is something that's also, aside the fact that you knowing exactly how to search for these companies, we also bring all these jobs to you to have you apply to them to furthermore increase your opportunity of getting the job as fast as possible. All right. So these are something that we do to get you in that space. And also, we have what we call still on your learning management system, you have access to a personalized learning AI assistant, meaning we have what we call it's proprietary to Analytics, and you can go on your learning management system, chat with Oluko, and Oluko will be always there for you. For example, you can go on Oluko and say, oh, Oluko, how are you today? I need you to guide me through how we're able to learn Power BI faster, or how to do a particular thing in Power BI. I heard somebody said, is there coding? Or what about the coding aspect of Power BI, which is the DAX functions? You can easily go to Oluko and say, write me a DAX function for a day-to-day update on a day-to-day format DAX function about dates. Or let's say a whole lot of things you can ask Oluko to do, and Oluko will be able to write you the code. Even if you're looking at doing something like mapping out a business process, Oluko is able to, you're able to go to Oluko and tell like, oh, are you able to map out guide me on how to be able to map out this particular process of this company I'm working with, and Oluko will be there to guide you through that particular step. So you have all avenue or all resources available to you to be able to learn and master things that you've been able to learn. Now, all these things, they always seem totally impossible. And I'll tell you for free that these are all the things that are possible. And you have lots of people that have been able to go through the training and be able to land themselves in a role that is very high rewarding. All right. Now, if you are hearing me, if you can understand what I'm saying about Oluko, can you drop me one in the chat? I believe the class is a bit quiet. I don't know, maybe everybody's trying to pay attention to what I'm saying. So if you can hear what I'm saying, you can drop one in the chat so I know you are listening and you can hear me attentively. All right. Fantastic, fantastic. So, like I said, it might seem like it's totally impossible. It might seem like, oh, what you're saying, Power BI that Amaka just showed me, I think it's too difficult. I might not be able to do it. But trust me, all this program, just like you've been able to see what Amaka did, it is very beginners friendly. It is totally beginners friendly. And going through that 6 months program, you will see yourself being able to land a role just like Lois. So you see, Lois wished to be an accountant back in Nigeria. And what she did was she took the business analysis program and she was able to land herself a job as a project manager in UK. All right, because the business analysis program also, like when I was explaining it, has a bit of agile project management that you'll be learning. And this skill is enough for you to get yourself a job as a project manager. All right. So that is what business analysis will give to you. Business analysis will give you the ability to work as a data analyst, the ability to work as a project manager, and also the ability to work as a business analyst itself. All right. Now, if you also look at Ngozi has no technical exposure, no technical background. I've done nothing in tech. And she was able to take the business analysis program, and she got herself a job as a business analyst also in UK, and she is working fully remotely. All right. And that is one major advantage of transitioning into tech. And the programs we offer gives you the opportunity to see yourself working from a remote settings. Do I have anybody on the chat that wants a remote set to get a job fully remote? Can I see a one in the chat box? Because trust me, working remotely is one of the fantastic things you want to do for yourself. Because I mean, so if you're looking at working remotely, can you drop a yes in the chat box? Let's see Sylvester. I can see Tracy. Yeah. So you see, working remotely is something that gives you value. And all the program I just mentioned, the business analysis, the data analyst, the financial analyst, and also the HR analyst gives you the ability to work fully remotely. You don't have to go to the office to be able to work, because what Amaka just did is some of the things you see yourself doing. And as she just did it, you can see she can work remotely from anywhere. All right. So these are the things you get to learn to be able to transition into that tech space. And if you're also looking, we have Oluwadamilare. Oluwadamilare took the data analytics program, and he was able to get himself a job at BAM UK as a sustainability data analyst. So there's a whole lot. So if you fill the form, you'll be able to get this slide, just like I've said. And if you see below, you see click to watch. So you can easily, when you get the slide, click on it and you'll be able to watch what they have to say and how the program has been impactful to them. All right. So my colleagues from time to time will drop the link in the chat box for you to fill the form. If you haven't, make sure you fill it so that you'll be able to get the slide and you'll be able to watch this particular success stories that Lois, Ngozi, and Oluwadamilare has to say. There's a whole lot. Trust me, there's a whole lot of people that have been able to go through the program and been able to land a job. Abigail used to work in as a care. She took the business analysis program and she was able to get herself a senior role job as a business analyst with the government of Alberta. And she have two other business analysts working before her. All right. So these are something that, and the reason why she's able to do that is because she has work experience. And these are some of the things that you will learn to be able to take advantage of. So your previous work experience, even if it has nothing to do in the tech space, it is not a waste. All right. It is not a waste. You will learn how to leverage this experience to apply to whatever job you're looking for, which is what Abigail did. So Abigail was able to leverage her 9 years of experience working in local government in Nigeria and was able to get herself a senior level role job in Canada. All right. So these are some things you will learn how to do. You will learn it. It's not like we'll do it for you. You will learn it. So it remains with you forever. Tony used to be a pharmacist and she did the data analyst program and she got a job with NHS that came with full sponsorship as a benefit analyst. All these things might be similar, like how are they able to do it? Trust me, what I just explained to you, part of them is the technical skill, the employability, they're able to leverage on all these things and they're able to get themselves a role in the tech space, right? Just like I said, you see below, you have the option to click and listen to what everybody have to say. So fill the form so you'll be able to watch what they have to say. All right. Now, when we're looking at presently, also, we have sessions that we bring back students that have taken the program and be able to tell you how they go about to land a job. Like I said, you can watch it when you get the slide. Also, we have the Alberta Catalyzer program. This is something that we do to be able to support our people to continue to have the opportunity to help Black people come into the tech space and get the opportunity that tech has to offer. So this is a program we entered into in Canada, and it's been very helpful. And we've also been able to be of impact to the Black community, all right? And also, when you're looking at Tenalytics, the organization itself, it's been accredited by ACTD, that's American Council of Training and Development. All right. So by the time you are done with your training, you'll be issued a certificate, and your certificate is accredited by ACTD. All right. Now, I saw that somebody dropped in the chat box, like, how much is the program? Now, what you should look into do is know exactly how to thrive and get into that sport. The next class that we have is starting by 5th of April. All right. So if you're looking to transition to any of these roles, your opportunity is at 5th of April. And another opportunity that you have is presently we have what we are in the season of women, and we are celebrating women, which is the International Women's Day, and we have a whooping 50% discount. And how we come about that is we have loads of organizations tell us that Analytics will love what we're doing, and we are going to pay for a certain percentage of students to take your program to be able to transition. Our program original price was $900, all right? But that particular price, due to the organizations that have been able to come into play, they've discounted that price by whopping 50%. So you'll not be seeing yourself paying $900, rather Can you confirm you can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes, we can hear you.
All right, fantastic. Fantastic. All right. So like I was saying, the international mandate discount is whooping 50% discount. And instead of you paying $900, which is the original price, you have the ability to take advantage of that discount, and you get to pay just $450. So if you look the chat box, to be able to take part of this discount and be part of the class starting by 5th of March, you have my colleague drop the link in the chat box. So what you want to do is try as much as possible to secure a spot. So you see this particular $450. What we went ahead to do for you again is you don't have to pay the $450 all at once. What you need to do is you can spread out this particular $450 and be able to pay in 3 installments. And what that means is you can pay $150 right now, and the following months you spread it over 3 months. So by following months you get to pay another $150, and by the following month, which is the 3rd month, you get to pay your remaining $150, which is the balance. All right, as against you paying $900, this is what we have now. And one thing you need to really take important notice of is, so you see the organizations that catered for the discount, they catered for, considering this international Monday discount, they catered for just 300 women, the first 300 women to register. And I don't know our offense to them, but they said for the men, it is not their concern, but they are able to give the men just 50 slots. All right. So if you're a man just like me, I don't know what we did to them, but if you're a man just like me and you're looking to take the advantage of the discount, we have just 50 slots for men. All right. So you want to try as much as possible. You will see my colleague drop the link to make the payment. It's a main stack link. They will drop in the chat box. You want to take advantage of it. Click on that, secure a spot. Once you secure a spot, you upload your receipt. You select the program you're looking for, you upload your receipt. Oh, wow. Adejoke is, no, I saw the fact that women have 300 slots. Adejoke, that is even a woman, has been able to just secure a spot even as fast as possible. I don't know why this life is not balanced, but that is where we find ourselves. So if I'm a man, I'm rooting for the men right now, because at least we need to take advantage of the discount also. So try as much as possible, pay 150, and once you upload your receipt, what you have is you will have somebody from Analytics reach out to you, email you or get you all your onboarding kit, whatever you need to start the program, looking to starting by April, 5th of April. The 5th of April. So the next class is starting by 5th of April. But one major advantage that you can also get is in a situation whereby you can't start by 5th of April, you are able to extend the class by 1 month. That is by May. So what you want to do is take advantage of the discount, secure your spot, and when you upload your receipt, you will indicate that you are not starting by March. Sorry, you are not starting by April, you are starting by May. What you'll be doing is you'll be taking advantage of the discount. So by that May, definitely the discount will be over, but you've been able to take advantage of it already. And in a situation whereby what Amaka just did, you are confused. You don't know if it is, you want to go with business analysis, or you don't know if it is data analytics, all those things, all those confusion. You also have my colleague drop the link in the chat box, fill the form. So once you fill the form, you always been able to book for a one-on-one clarity session where you have a professional. It is 100% free. You don't have to pay for any of that. All right. It is 100% free. You'll be able to book a consultation with a professional that will be able to understand where your standpoint is, where your super strength is, and you'll be able to advise you on which of the program you should be going for. Is it business analysis? Is it data analytics? Or it's a perfect fit for financial analytics? So make sure you fill the form to be able to take advantage of that. All right. So these are the things that you'll be able to take advantage of. So right now, if you have questions, you can drop in the chat box. Then I'll be able to answer whatever questions that you have. All right, so right now, aside the fact that Nav Eagle, so right now we're basically talking about programs that are able to take advantage of leveraging Power BI. And when you're talking about Power BI is not something you learn in data science, because as a data scientist, you work more in the forecasting and predictive aspect. You analyze data to be able to predict the future, right? If you're looking to analyze what is going to happen within the future, you build a model, a machine model, and that machine model will be able to predict a particular scenario or result based on the information or data set you must have given to it. All right, that's what a data scientist is. I don't want to really dive so much into it, but that explains a compound explanation to who a data scientist is. All right. I don't know if that's clarifying to you, Nat. All right. Do we have any questions? I can't see any question in the chat box. If you have a question, you want to drop in the chat box. And while you do that, you want to make sure you click on that mainstack.me link and be able to take advantage of the discounts. Remember, we have just 300 slots for women and we have 50 for the men. So you want to try as much as possible to take advantage of that and be able to secure a spot to start with the class starting by April, 5th of April, right? And the discount is for the first 20 people. So I don't know what, I think Joke, what program did you register for? I did Joke, what program did you register for? All right, so Adiola is asking what tech stack? Data analytics, fantastic. So for data analytics, people looking to go with data analytics, they have limited program already, because Adechoka has been able to register, and I'm sure some other people would have been able to also register, even those that are not on this call, right? So Diola is asking, what is the test stack offered for data science? So for data science, you have Python, you have loads of Python, you have Tableau, you have Excel, you have computer vision, You have loads of them. You have machine learning, supervised and unsupervised. You have tons of them. All right. All right. So if you have questions, all right, Jella, you're so welcome. Do you have questions? Because um I'm about to look at how I'll be able to get people that might want to be interested. So what you want to do is, just like I said, take advantage of the discounts. All right, so Sylvester is asking, how is the training scheduled? Is it self-paced or we get video? So it is a blended approach, all right? And what I mean by that is you have both the live classes, just like this one that we're having, then you have the self-paced, all right? And your classes, if you see when I was talking about the programs, they happen on Saturdays, all right? So in a month, we have 4 Saturdays. So 2 Saturdays out of those 4, you have your live classes. And the other 2 Saturdays, you have your self-play sessions, all right? And everything you do, you always have the ability to ask questions, because when you join the program, you have your professionals, your trainers, they will be in an enclosed WhatsApp community just with you, and they'll be able to so you have any question, after your training, after your live class, you have questions, they are always there to answer whatever question it is that you have. All right. All right. After the program, will you be employed as an entry level? So I always tell people that in tech, there's nothing really like entry role, because when you're looking at entry, they are looking at somebody that don't have skill. That's something you will never get in tech. If you are looking to apply to a job as a data analyst, they need you to have Power BI. They need you to be able to do those things that Amaka has been able to do, and even much more. And by the time you are done with the program, you will see yourself applying to a mid-level role to be able to get into that space. So mid-level role, mostly mid-level, because you have hands-on experience to be able to get yourself into that space. All right. So I think that question is for Nat. All right. So Diola is asking, would I be able to fit in as my foundation is accounting? I don't have knowledge in tech. So that is exactly what we're looking at. So that's exactly what I said. Now, for example, now you have background in accounting. What you want to do is you want to make sure that you fill the form that my colleagues are dropping in the chat box. And after filling that form, you will have the ability to speak with a professional. What you can also do is, if you make your payment, if you secure a spot, after making your payment, when you have the opportunity to select which of the programs you want to go for, you can select that you want to speak with a professional, all right? And what that will give to you is, so instead of them taking you to any program, you get to speak with professionals, where you have some of my professional colleagues that will listen to you, understand. Is now a personalized session where you'll be able to explain things you've been able to do, your years of experience in accounting. They will understand your level in accounting, then they'll be able to guide you to which path exactly is best for you. And trust me, whichever path that it is 100% beginners friendly, just like you've seen Amaka did. It is 100% beginners friendly, and you are able to transition easily. All right. So what you want to do is you take advantage of the opportunity right now and key into that spot. I don't know if that's answer your question, Diola. Now, if you very soon, I'm definitely certain that you will be sharing your testimonial very soon. Okay. I love your spirit. I love the ginger, and trust me, that is what you need to be able to transition and get yourself into that space. All right. All right. So Aaron said, if I choose to start in May, but later decided to start in April, yes. So that's possible. So if you decide to start in May and later you say that, oh, all things being equal, you can start in April. So far, the class is yet to start. 100% you can. You can switch back to say you want to start by April. It's very flexible in that regard. You can, yes. All right. Nat, what program are you looking to register for? And have you registered? Please just started my master's in data analytics in UK in search of a job for 20 hours. Do I need to go through the process to get a job? I get a part-time or full-time. So getting a part-time job or full-time job, number one, depends on the company you're looking to hire you. But what you see from experience is many organizations will not want to do full-time because by law, you don't have the ability to work full-time. All right. So what you'll be looking at is working part-time. But even to be able to give you the opportunity to work part-time, you need a skill as a data analyst. What you're doing now is learning the theoretical part of being a data analyst. You need hands-on experience, just like what Amaka just did, hands-on experience to be able to see yourself working part-time, right? So what you want to do is you want to get skilled. Then after getting skilled, apply to jobs part-time. Then you also be able to, if you see when I was walking through the employability skill slide, you have the option of working on Upwork, freelancing. So you're able to work as a freelancer at your own time and be able to get your skills to individuals. So that's the page. You'll be working with individuals and working for organization at the same time, giving you the opportunity to earn good money while you're still in school. All right. So I think that's what you should be looking to take advantage of. I think that question is from Dami. Yes, I believe that answers your question. All right, so Diola said, I desire data science as I'm currently working as an HR data analyst. I want to place myself an advantage in the job market, but I have no clue about Python and machine learning. So as a data scientist, yes, you will learn how to use Python because that's something you'll be learning to use. So if that's not something you have skill or if you're willing to learn, 100%, you can learn it. But if that's going to be a little bit of a challenge for you, then you can go with the data analytics. And after some time, you can see yourself working in that space. But you said you're working as an HR data analyst. So I want to believe that the skills set, the tech stack that I mentioned, these are something you work with daily. And if they are not, then you want to really work in that space, get comfortable before you say you want to start working as a data scientist. All right. Okay. All right, so Nat said he's going to register today. All right, you want to really take advantage of that discount because they didn't make it so much available for us. They gave us just 50 slots. All right, Sylvester, you're welcome. Thank you for explaining the first part of my question. The second question wasn't addressed, and that is how exactly do you support training to secure a job after the training? So securing job after training is what I explained during the employability, and I will gladly take that again so you understand. So what I was talking about, the technical skills you'll be learning. So whatever it is that you're learning in class, all these are technical skills. How do you now leverage your technical skills to be able to get yourself a job? That is what we're talking about, the employability. And the employability is learning how to write your CV, revamp your CV. When you're applying to jobs, you apply to 20 jobs. You don't apply with one CV. If you apply to 20 jobs, you apply to 20 different CVs, all right? So these are the things that give you the opportunity to beat what we call the applicant tracking system and be able to get your CV to the hiring manager itself. That is number one. Then also you'll have the LinkedIn where you have professional guide you through how to be able to optimize your LinkedIn to be able to get into those jobs that you don't even know exist. Then you have navigating the job market. Like I said, we have sessions whereby we'll have previous students, we bring them back into your classes and you have them teach you, show you what they did to be able to get themselves a job, all right? Then you also have interview preparations, on-the-job support, weekly mentorship. These are things that going through it will give you the opportunity to get yourself a job after, even before the training is over, because with everything being said, you don't need to wait until the end of 6 months or 8 months before you start applying to jobs, all right? By 2 months into the program, you have just about enough technical skills and just about enough employability skills to start applying to jobs, all right? So you don't have to wait the whole length of the program before you start applying, all right? I believe that answers the second part of your question. I think that is from Sylvester, all right. Please, how many installments payments is also available? So we have 3 installments of payments, right? It's $450, and that 450 you can either pay one time, you can pay 2 times, or you can pay maximum of 3 times. Remember, this is because of International Women's Day discounts. Once this discount is over, the price is reverting back to 900, and that time you'd not be paying 450, rather you'll be paying $900. And with $900 you have the option to now spread out the payment, I think 5 times. But with this, it is 3 times, making it even a lot more easier for you to take advantage of. All right. Okay, Diola, okay, fantastic. So if you're already working with Power BI, SQL, and Excel, I think you should be getting yourself prepared to jump into data science. It doesn't matter if you don't know anything about it. The data science program is very beginners friendly. All right. So even if you don't know Python, if you don't know statistics, that is why we are here. We're able to teach you in such a way that you'll be able to understand enough to be able to apply it and get yourself a job with it. All right. Okay. So Olayinka Nelson said, which of the program has Power Apps? So when you're looking at Power Automate and Power Apps, they used to really be a thing. But if you look at, according to the World Economic Forum, what we are leaning on is career path that organizations are really looking to hire for. And being a Power App engineer is not something that you see many organizations looking to really, you have organizations looking to hire for that, but not as much as what we qualify to be part of the programs we offer. We used to offer Power Apps, Power Automate and Power Apps. We used to offer that before, but gradually we see that the demand for organizations declined seriously, and we work at the World Economic Forum to leverage so that once you know that you go through this program, you have that in-demand skill that you see a whole lot of organizations looking to fight for, right? So that's why we don't currently offer Power Apps and being a Power App engineer, all right? All right, so Dami said when is the discount going to go here by this month? By the end of this month, but that is the total discount. Like I said, once the slots, the 300 slots allocated for the women is over, that is what the organization paid for. Once the 50 slots is over for the men, the discount is over. So even despite the fact that the month we're in, which is March, is International Women's Day month, once that slot of 300 is filled, the discount is over because that is what the organization paid for, while the remaining 50% is what you get to pay, all right? All right, Sylvester, you're so welcome. How long does the training last, especially for business analyst? So you have 6 months in class training and you have 2 months internship. So any of the program you're looking to go for, even if it is data science, you have 6 months in class training and 2 months internship. You'll be learning how to be this professional for 6 months. And in 2 months, you'll be working on real life projects. That projects you'll be able to have in your portfolio. So when anybody is looking to hire you or they're asking for what you've been able to do and how you've been able to do it, your portfolio is what you give to them, and they'll be able to see what you're capable of doing as a business analyst, all right? So you have portfolios in that regards. All right. All right, so that means that enrolling for this program might not be convenient for me, considering that I'll shuffle my masters and 6 months in class. How can we make this go? So you see, like I mentioned earlier, the way the program is structured, we consider a whole lot of things. We consider people that are studying, students that are studying and are working, adults that have 2 jobs, and people that have been away from classroom for a very long time. So you don't have anything clashing during the week, all right? What you have is your Saturday's training, either your live class or your self-paced. If you are joining from UK, which I believe, are you joining from UK, Dami? So if you're joining from UK, you'll be joining the European time zone, which is 11 a.m. West African time. If you're joining from, let's say, Canada or US, you will be joining 10 a.m. Mountain time, which is around 6 p.m. West African time, which happens on Saturday. So your training happens on Saturday and it doesn't affect you. Every other activity you have during the week, for example, your master class, your review sessions that happen during the week, sorry, your mentorship session, your other sessions that happen during the week, they happen in the evening. So even if you have to go to class during the day, during the week, it doesn't conflict with your training. And your classes, you have a whole long week to practice whatever it is that you've been taught or you've been trained to do, all right? Okay. All right, do we have other questions? Can I pay now to utilize the scholarship and join the class later because my current hands? So please, you can. And just like I mentioned, you can secure a spot now, but you have the opportunity to extend and start by May. All right, so you can do that, start by May, and you'll be able to get yourself into that spot, okay? Okay, I think, do we have, please, can you give me a full breakdown of the data analytics syllabus? So if you need a breakdown of the syllabus, if you go on that, the link that my colleague shared, which is the main stack link, you will see the opportunity to download the syllabus, right? So click on it and you'll be able to download the syllabus for data analytics program. Or what you can also do is make sure that you fill the form. So once you fill the form, you'll be able to have somebody reach out to you. And once they reach out to you, you can request that they share the syllabus for data analytics with you, all right? Bliss, yes, the extension, the discount, International Women's Day discount covers only April, and you have the opportunity to extend to May. Anything aside from that is going to be revert back to the original price. If that's something that you're comfortable with, then we're happy to have you by the anytime you're looking. Our classes, we have classes starting, new classes starting every first Saturday of the month, right? So even after May, June, we have class starting by June, but the prices will be different. There's no more discount of International Men's Day, so the price will be back to $900, all right? So yes, the class happens, your live classes happens on Saturday, all right? So if you are yet to fill the form, kindly do fill the form, take advantage of the discount, and I'll be seeing you all in class by April. Or for those that are not comfortable to start by April, you want to make your payment, take advantage of the discount, and I'll be seeing you in class by May, all right? So thank you for having me. I believe I've been able to attend to all the questions that you have. Like my colleague just dropped the link in the chat box. You want to take advantage of that and make sure you don't lose out on the discounts. So thank you for being here, and I'll be looking forward to see every one of you in class by April or by May, and you be able to transition into tech just like you've been able to see every other person do it. All right. So that'll be all from me now. Cheers and bye for now.